Hi everyone, I'm Comley Wilson and welcome to another edition of Enertiv's Real Estate Technology Whiteboard. Now today we're going to talk about 3 trends reshaping building operations as we know it. These are mega trends that are happening whether or not we want them to. The real question is, are we going to adapt? So the first one, field expertise is retiring. Now 72% of building operators are over the age of 45, and something like 30% are over the age of 55. These operators are going to be retiring soon, taking with them all their institutional and technical knowledge, and unfortunately, there is not the labor stock to replace them. Twice as many high school graduates are going to universities rather than technical schools, trade schools, or jumping straight into the workforce. And the effects of this are already being felt. 62% of firms say they struggle to fill technical positions. Now this is a real challenge that I'm sure many of you can relate with, but fortunately there are other mega trends that are enabling real estate companies to do more with less. One of those is data collection. Now data is getting better, it's getting easier to capture, and it's getting less expensive to implement. Case in point, the cost per sensor has fallen 70% in the last decade. In addition to that, the cost for the infrastructure necessary to get that sensor data out of the building is falling as well, because with new protocols, these sensors can transmit their data 4 times as long as previously possible. That means less data loggers, that means less hubs, less of the ancillary stuff that's necessary in a IoT deployment. And this is showing off. IoT deployments are increasing 79% year over year. Now, that A, shows that this data is producing value, but it also exemplifies something we talked about in our last video, which is this idea of a data lake. Now, the more data is captured, the more valuable each new data point becomes. That's where this better data comes into play. And the last trend I want to talk about is the business case. There's obviously real estate is a competitive industry. For those who can find returns from new sources will be in a much better position financially and therefore competitively. So the first one, with this data, it's possible to achieve a 10% reduction in overall operating expenses. Now it's not just the energy line item, that's total operating expenses minus taxes. That's a significant number. Say you're spending $10 per square foot on operating expenses and you have a 6% cap rate. That's $16 per square foot of added asset value. Not only that, but reducing operating expenses also means longer equipment useful lifetime. When your equipment lasts longer, that means you have to put away less money per year for CapEx reserves. So in addition to this 10% reduction in operating expenses, there's a potential to decrease the annual reserves necessary for capital expenditures by 15% as well, which is more money into the pocket of landlords. Finally, this is a topic that needs much more research, but one report out of San Diego found that buildings that are high performing have a 4% higher occupancy rate than those that have elevator shutdowns or their hot water doesn't work pretty often. At the portfolio scale, a 4% higher occupancy rate really moves the needle. So the business case is becoming undeniable to adopt data even when you have less people to run the buildings effectively. So those are 3 big trends. There's obviously some challenges. The question is, how do we adapt? So I hope that was helpful, and have a great day.